reigniting romance, dating your spouse in the midst of life's chaos? Sometimes it's a question or it's a concern that we all have. So in today's podcast, Sissy and I, we're going to go over some of the things that we're doing in our relationship and you could potentially be doing to keep that romance alive. So stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back to another episode, y'all. It's your girl, Cece. As always, I am joined by this man over here, my co-host, the crazy husband, the my superhero. Okay, let's make sure that's there. My superhero. Okay. What else, babe? My partner in crime.
I have a cape and I have wings. My partner in crime. I fly sometimes.
Yes, you do.
I'm a true superhero.
Listen, let's give it up for my hubby, the one and only.
Hey, everybody, this is Will, and yes, thank you for the fabulous intro. I can use one like this every podcast.
Okay, so don't.
Everybody, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you with us on the Blissology Podcast. I just want to say, if this is the first time with us, please remember to subscribe and hit on the bell icon so you can be notified when videos like this one come out.
Yes.
This podcast come out every Saturday, and in it we talk about
love, life, family, relationship. Y'all know what we talk about here. So glad to have you here, and welcome to the month of May already. And please, May the 4th be with you. Okay?
May the 4th be with you.
That's right.
Why are you quoting Star Wars?
Listen, I don't watch that show, but I just know there's somewhere. I don't watch that movie.
Well, technically they say May the 4th be with you, but May the 4th be with you. So it's a pleasure to have you guys. Now, as always, before we get into the topic of the day, we always like to discuss something blissful that either happened to us during the week or something that we did. So, what's your blissful moment?
Okay. Blissful moment.
Oh, what was your scary moment?
You want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it? I don't want to talk about it, but you're more than welcome to talk about it. Listen, y'all. Okay, we're going to talk about it. What happened?
So this is kind of opposite of blissful.
It's not a blissful moment, but we'll give it its moment.
Well, it was the moment. What's the highlight, or should I call it the highlight
of the week?
Well, highlight usually implies something good.
Well,
this one was something scary.
It's scary that happened. Apparently, what was it, last week?
No, it was earlier this week. It was on Wednesday.
Okay, well, listen, here's the thing. I'm going to have my husband tell the story of what happened because I don't feel like it needs to be, I don't think I should be talking about it. So go ahead, babe.
I got to call out work, and someone said a snake got inside a house and it was chaos in the house, and I had to run home to help get the thing out of the house. Now, I haven't been able to say the word snake in the house, and I'm saying it right now in the podcast. It's probably going to cause issues with some people.
Okay, can we say it instead, please? Not say the name.
So, yes, it got in the house by someone opening the door, not realizing it was in front of the door, hiding under the door sill, or whatever the thing we have that prevents little creatures from coming in. So when someone opened the door, it snuck in, and someone slammed the door, potentially put it out. Wasn't sure if it was still in the house or if it was out, and someone was so scared of checking to see if it was there. So someone had to call me and her dad and her brother to see who can come and get rid of it.
And mind you, guys, okay, the girls, you guys know my daughters are homeschooled. They were like on top of the table. Okay.
So when I got home, I found someone standing way away from the front door.
Of course.
Watching to see if it's going to get in the rest of the house. And then the kids were on the dining room table also watching the front door.
And the kitchen.
Now, I don't know what. No, here's the thing I asked Sissy. If she saw it, crawling or whatever it does to get to places, to any other part of the house, what would she do?
Call the firefighter.
And her response was she would run. And I'm like, okay, then what's the point of watching it? Because if you can't do anything to stop it from going where it potentially could be going, then but anyway, it ended up being well, my thought process, I'm coming home and I'm like, I'm hoping that it does not get into the rest of the house, because it'll be tough finding it. Yes. Listen, we'll have to move a lot of stuff, and these things can hide if they get into a place, and they're scared when they get in. Obviously, the goal is to not let me catch them to potentially either kill them or hurt them. So they're in defensive mode, which means they would probably be hiding, and not knowing where it is would have been chaos for me to find. Obviously, my goal was to get animal control in, because I don't know if this thing venomous or anything. I don't know much about those things. I just know that if I see one, and if I could see, I can chase it. If I can't see it, finding it and potentially stumble on it and have me get bitten, this is not the best thing. So goal was, if it got in the rest of the house, I got to call animal control to come and find it for me. This way, at least I'll have a professional to handle it. I'm tired of saying the word it.
But that's what we're going to keep, baby.
But fortunately, it was still in a place where I could easily chase it out of the house, which I did, and it was gone. And afterwards, I was given a list of tasks to do to make sure that I blocked up, because we have a screened-in front porch, and somehow the screen door had a gap on it, which we've been living in the house for years. Well, we had in a couple of instances where lizards have gotten in and so forth, but
yeah, but not in the house.
That type of it had never gotten this close. Now, I've seen it crossing across the driveway, different it, but it was still the it. I've seen them crossing across the driveway while we were in camera footage. I've had to chase one, but not from inside the house. He had gotten in this, which I never disclosed that to Cece, but I found one in the air conditioning that was hiding in there. So we know we have those it around our area. Yes. They're just there.
And we live in Florida.
Listen,
so
they are around. We're bound to run into them. Sometimes we'll be sitting in the patio. We see some it crawling on the fence, just going about doing their business. They're just there. They're part of nature, and it bound to be seen. We just don't expect it to get in the house.
Right. Correct.
And if you're just not getting an it is a snake. Okay, I figured I clarified. But anyway, situation was handled. I had to leave work a little early to handle it. And now we shouldn't have it problems, at least in the house. But we're in Florida. Listen, at least this wasn't a gator. Because I can't chase a gator on my own. Listen. I have to get animal control. But yeah, there was a warning not too long ago not to go. If you see one in the lake, don't feed them.
We have lakes by our house, and we've seen a few. We've seen one.
Anyway, but that was the moment of the week.
See, the thing is, the only part I want to add is that it wasn't like fully inside our house. It was by the front door. Like,
well, I looked at the camera footage.
It almost
when you open the door, I think when you slam the door, because of the threshold thing, kind of pushed it out. Because when I looked at the camera footage, when you open the door, it was on the first tile.
Yeah.
Because I could see the thing, and I'm like, I'm glad that it did, because it would have.
Yeah. And it wasn't that big. I think it was long.
Yeah, it was long. You want me to show the picture?
No, I don't want to see no picture. Because when I opened the door, it was all curled up. Because that's what happened. And I truly feel like I don't need to see the leg. Thank you. But I just know that it was small. Like a tiny, like a baby.
I don't think it really got it.
And it looks like it was a toy.
Not a toy. Maybe someone's pet, I think.
Well, yeah, a pet is what I meant to say. A pet. It looks like it was a pet, and because I've never seen one like this before. It was colorful, I'd say. Yeah, because it kind of reminded me of one of those, like, little kids who like to have those reptiles as a pet. And I was like, okay, someone is lost and they think they're gonna come here, or it could have been because the people did the grass in the morning and they took their spot and somehow y'all, it's hot
It was
in
hot
Florida
that day. Maybe it wanted to cool down.
It's hot in Florida, and he probably was down in some air and thinking that he was gonna come into the house of the Lord. Are you crazy? Hey.
Did you pray when you saw it?
We were worshiping.
So
listen,
that was.
we were worshiping, baby. I'm gonna tell you that
They were worshiping.
Worshiping, and we had the music playing Alexa was playing some good gospel music. So yes, you don't welcome here, and of course we didn't kill it. We didn't kill it because I don't believe in killing animals. I understand that people would like you should have killed it, but I just let it go. Let it go on its own. Just like Jesus
I chased it out. I give it a bath. I blew. Yeah, I mean,
you give it a bath.
Yeah, because after I chased it out of the front porch, it tried to get back in. So I pull out the water hose and I chase them away.
You give it a bath. You like hose it down.
Yeah, but that was a moment. That was an exciting moment. It wasn't the most. Actually, it wasn't blissful at all. It was a moment of panic.
It was a moment of panic
for people. And I got this. She's like, "Do you have a plan?" I'm like, "Do you have a plan?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, then let me handle it."
Yes, he is. Like I said again in the beginning of the podcast, he is my superhero. But I truly appreciate my dad and my brother because I called him first. He's at work. Then I call my dad. Then I call my brother. And I was like, one of y'all needs to come here and get this thing out of here. And I have 3 men in my life. Okay, 3 men in my life.
You didn't call my brother.
I said I have 3 men in my life.
He's the farthest. There's no way that he would have.
Well, that's why I didn't call your brother. And my brother's right there. My dad is right there.
Oh,
yes, my brother's work is right there. And although he told me that he couldn't get out at the time that I wanted him to be here.
Yeah.
But this man took the highway and flew here to rescue his 3 girls.
About 30 minutes
hey,
away,
listen.
But I made it. That give me enough time to think, okay.
Yes.
What am I going to do when I get to the house? And how I'm going to get that stuff. And I'm praying that it didn't get in the rest of the house because it would have been difficult to find it.
Yeah, but.
And I know until I find it, some people would not be able to stay in the house.
I wouldn't. I would move to my parents.
Yeah.
Until I get this thing out. But hey, listen, this is the house of the Lord. He couldn't get in. He's trying to get in. And God says, you're not getting in. This is my house. Okay.
Well, technically he stepped in.
Well, he stepped in, but he didn't get inside a house, baby. There's a difference.
Okay.
He didn't get inside a house.
Yes. Yes. And yes. Anyway, so that was our moment for our exciting moment for the week, or her exciting moment.
Well, my exciting moment. Okay.
So now let's get into the topic of the day, which is another exciting thing. Dating your spouse to keep the romance alive.
Listen, this is something that I truly feel like we need.
And I need that. I need you to date me.
We kind of already in the month of May already. I cannot believe how we blanked and it's May 4th already. Okay. And I know we haven't had a date night.
We've had some party nights.
Okay, there's a difference, baby. We haven't had we're going to a party tonight. Okay, we're going to a party later today, and I don't consider that a date night.
No, it's not. It's just a fun night. Cause
here's what happened. We constantly working. I have a showing today at 10:30.
Well, we've had to reschedule a few times
since the beginning of the year. Honey, we haven't had. We haven't, and this is what I'm saying. It gets so busy in so much for we have it on our calendar every month to go out and do something, but we get so busy
and we do something else,
which means I'm either have an appointment with a client, because typically when I do my showings on Saturdays, it goes from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock, because I make sure my clients get to see at least 3 property, which you guys see my shirt. This is where we're going after the podcast. So, and you guys see his business because he's marketing. He does my marketing business. So we gotta haven't had a date night. We haven't had a moment together because we either out and about, and I don't consider that a date night. I consider that working, even though we are together on the road. but it's not a date because it gets so busy. And I'm like, wait.
And listen, I know that's something that many couples are maybe facing, just like we are. We know it's important, yet often it gets pushed back,
Yes.
to the back burner.
Well, yeah.
Because life can get hectic.
Yes.
And you believe me, dating your spouse with works and kids and social commitments.
Yes.
And all the other responsibilities that life throws our ways, or sometimes your spouse throws your way.
Yeah.
It's easy for us and for a couple like us to lose sight of the importance of nurturing that relationship we have.
Right.
But for us, we still find ways to have fun. But, don't worry. Today, we're going to share some practical tips and strategies for keeping the romance alive. I know we've missed, some date nights, but I'll tell you later today, Sissy's about to be looking fly and we're going to have fun. It may not be date night, but I'll tell you, we're going to have fun.
I understand. I get it.
That's important in that. Now, those are substitution. They're not direct replacement for date nights.
I think sometimes you think they are, though.
Listen, I'm all about having fun with my woman, and if we do, but I understand. Date nights are important where you can have that time to yourself,
that intimacy with your spouse versus you sharing with a bunch of other people in the room. When you're just out there partying, and it's not the same thing. Yeah, although we go to party, we have one every month.
Yes,
at the same time,
that's been the trend lately. One every month.
At the same time, I truly feel like it's not like us dress up and go out and, either go watch a movie or go to the restaurant.
In my defense, the most recent 2 date nights were rescheduled because we had to cater to something that she absolutely had to do.
And what did I have to do?
I had to meet with a client.
See, busy work life. And I think it's so important for you to date your wife and date your spouse. And I think it's something that if a lot of us are doing that, it would definitely help us get more, stay more connected.
Well, this is where we really have to, because prioritizing what's important is important. So if date night is prioritized, we shouldn't have to reschedule it because, Sis is really like all about her clients. So, in a heartbeat, you're like, yeah, listen, I gotta do this. Let's reschedule. But if we prioritize it and make it a priority, and I have to do the same thing as well. If we make it's a must, then we just have to schedule the client at a different time. We'll just have to schedule whatever responsibilities we have.
I agree.
At a different time.
I'm here to serve my clients. So when they are in need of my service, I am here to serve you. But I realize that we don't really use Sunday to, as a substitute. We kind of like, if it doesn't happen.
Focus on the Saturday.
Yes. If it doesn't happen on Saturdays, we just, because it's on our calendar. If it doesn't happen on Saturdays, we just like, okay, well.
Let's try next Saturday or postpone. But and we have to have like flexibility. And this is where prioritizing is important. Yes, you're bound to run into life. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And when you care about your clients, and if that's the time they have available and you can make the arrangement, you do so.
Right.
However, don't let it be that, okay, now we can't have the date night. Let's move it to next month and then something else happen. No, we can't have it today. Maybe let's do tomorrow. Now, Sissy does have this thing. She says is if we go leave the house to do something today, it doesn't make sense to leave the house to go do something tomorrow. She tried to keep it 1 outings per weekend.
Yes.
And I understand that. And obviously date night don't necessarily have to be where we go and sit in. It could just be maybe a park visit. Maybe do something that does not quite entail some excessive or some crazy driving to go places. But it's crucial, and we have to prioritize it to make sure we can get it done.
Yes. Dating a spouse, to me, I feel like it's like, it's like a plant. You have a plant, a beautiful garden, and you keep water in the plant. You keep water in your garden, and you make sure that, your plant grows and it flourishes. It looks very, very, bloom, right? I think it's the same way when we did our spouse, because you constantly falling in love again, and you constantly like, wow, you dress up to do. One thing I love about what my husband says is like, babe, dress up, we're going out tonight. It's just something that turns me on. For some reason, it's like, okay, let's drop the kids at your parents, which I know we've been busy, but prior of me being a realtor, I think, or working for myself, it was more like, okay, let's drop the kids at your parents, and then let's just dress up and go out. That's, to me, it's like you watering me. You making me want to be like more around you. Make me want to still date my husband, my boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's so important because, listen, we need our relationship to grow.
Yes.
So therefore, you have to take care of it. And I think, date nights provides an opportunity for couples, for us to reconnect, communicate, and of course, and create memories together, which every time you and I would go out, we always have some kind of like, remember back in the days, or, when we were this and that, we'll have like some great memories and we'll just talk. Or sometimes we try not to let business kind of slide in, but we can't help it. We can't help it. Yeah. But I think it really, keeping the memories alive and keep building them, it's really going to spark more and more.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Research actually shows that couples who continue to date each other,
yes,
reports higher level of satisfaction in their relationship. So it's not just about having fun. It's also about investing in the long-term health of your relationship.
Yes.
So do it. You'll benefit from it later.
Yes, I agree. It's not just about having fun. It's about connecting. It's about, and I think it's just important. You mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be something expensive. It could also be where we have our date night where we tell the girls, hey, listen, go in your room, just watch a movie or play Minecraft all night. We don't care. Yeah. And then we just have our own little date night in the living room or the dining room.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I think I think it's easy said and done, right? But is it going to get done?
Planning will make it done. We have to, again, it goes back to prioritizing. If it's here at the top of the list, and you know that day nothing will take its spot, you'll do fine.
It's interesting that weekend we're supposed to have our date night. We didn't have it because I had a showing that morning, and then later on that evening we had the lady that had turned a birthday party that we went to that evening, and then today, this Saturday, we have a showings in the morning. And then we have a wedding that we're going to later in the afternoon. So it's just a thought that come to mind.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to have fun. I know it's not a date night, but it's a fun night.
It's not a date night. It's a fun night.
Yeah.
So I want to say the second thing I want to mention is to definitely overcoming common challenges. What do you say about that?
Well, the challenges that we're facing right now is allocating time and prioritizing it, make sure that we're not rescheduling because we have other issues. So finding the time for date night can be easier said than done, especially when life is spilling you in a million different directions. Yeah. We got to go to showings this morning. Yeah. We've got a number of different properties that I got to drive her to. Yeah. And then we got to try to get home at a certain time. And the goal was to get ready. And then actually we get invited to this party. And who wants to say no to a party? So now we find that now we go in there. So how can couples overcome some of those common challenges they may face? So to deal with these challenges, one strategy is to get creative with your time. Yes. Right? Even if you can't carve out a whole evening for a fancy dinner, you can still find pockets of time for mini dates throughout the day. Yes. Yes. And I think we've been having these things. We just don't call them that. It could sometimes be as simple as taking a walk together after dinner or having a picnic in the park on a Sunday afternoon. That we haven't done. Picnic in the park on a Sunday afternoon, that's way out of what we've ever thought about.
Well, we did something last Sunday afternoon. We went to Marketplace and we chilled with the girls. Of course, we had the kids. That's not a mini date. We had the kids and went to...
However, we did get to sit on a bench and we had some conversations.
We did. We did.
So what I'm saying, sometimes we have these little things, but we never looked at them as that.
It is a good point. Right? I agree. I agree. It's all about prioritize your quality over quantity. To me, quality matters more than, because it builds that memory versus like, oh, we do the same thing over and over and again. Whereas where we have like a very nice day or this weekend, we go somewhere, we make this fun and we had a good time, and it makes it like, it makes it memorable versus like us get in the car and drive around. And that's why I always say quality over quantity.
Yes.
Even if you only have an hour together, make the most of it, and, and make sure that you're fully present, you're fully there for each other. And I think this goes out for, as you were talking, I was thinking about, young couples who just, who's been married for a year or two, or who may have a baby in their life where they constantly taking care of the baby. They don't have time for them to date. I think it's so important for you to create like an hour, 2 hours, or a weekend. Drop the kids at their grandma's, or a friend that you trust that can watch the kids for you. Because you want to make sure your spouse, your husband, is still love that girl that he met 10, 15 years ago, right? Because we change. I'm not who I was 10 years ago. He's not who he was 10 years ago. So therefore, I truly feel like every year we change because our mindset change. We're not the same person who we were back then. So we constantly have to date that new person and trying to figure out what do they like. Okay, my wife that used to like this, not really into it anymore, because I'm not into like going out and be around a bunch of people as much anymore. I'm into let's build our intimacy together, and then we just like make it build memories.
Yeah, absolutely. So creative things that you could do. One, you could maybe take a cooking class together, something that you can attend together. Now that may be a bit more involved. Or maybe do a DIY spa at home.
Okay.
Now, that would be more like on you if you want to do this. Because I wouldn't know how to set up a DIY spa. But then again, there's YouTube. You can go on YouTube and find information. Listen, I'd like to get my cucumbers on my face and enjoy it. But yeah, that's not really like me. But if she proposed the idea, I'd be, listen.
You'll be open?
I'd be all like, I would not go out and do it. But if it's at home, I'm in a safe place. We'll just have fun together. And if you're really adventurous, try something outdoors. Or rock climbing. Take a sport. Or biking.
Okay.
Get one of those tandem bikes, where you're both on there pedaling together. But it all comes down to finding things that maybe would not be seen as conventional things, but you can still enjoy with each other. Especially if it's something new that you haven't done. Just the fact that you're trying would be fun enough.
I agree.
But you have to be open-minded.
I agree. You have to be open-minded and be willing.
Some people sometimes are really set in their way on the things they want to do. Like restaurant, for instance. She would not go to a restaurant unless she knows exactly what they have.
Well, yes, I need to see the menu and I need to see pictures. I'm one of those girls where I know if we go to a fancy, luxurious restaurant, they don't have pictures, right? They don't have pictures because they just have prices.
Yeah, she like to see her food.
I will go, before I get there, I'll go on Google and make sure that I look at the images and see what the thing looks like. Because sometimes it's hard for me, and I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
I know. See, but do things that you don't normally do. And I know now we have resources available to us. You can go online and search for give me some ideas on what couples can do in such town, and you'll get some ideas. Just pick a couple and try them out.
Yeah.
Go to the gun range together, learn how to shoot, anything that you could do together.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think most importantly, you have to find the time. You have to carve time, make sure that you have the time in your calendar, in your schedule. Like, get with your spouse, get with your spouse. Like, it's something that, hey, listen, if I feel like, hey, we're not dating, we're not going out on date enough, it's important for you to know that. You know what I mean? Yes, although we've been busy, life is being lifing very, very much for us. But at the same time, it's important for you to continue date your spouse.
Yeah.
Until we no longer hear One
Keep
thing I gotta
dating them.
say this is that my parents, they like in their ages, okay, in their adult ages, and they still date each other. They still go out on
Sometimes their
weekends.
dating tells we're gonna go to the mall and browse.
Yes, they sure do. And I truly appreciate my dad
Yes.
because he's not one of those men that just wanna work, and and then come home and the wife is just there watching TV, because my mom would not tolerate that, first of all. And that's one thing that you gotta appreciate from having a husband who sees values in, hey, I understand your work. You had a long day today. Let's make sure that this weekend we just go browsing. We just go out. And they always do. They always do.
They always do. And you know what? Talking about doing things, in today's podcast, we're gonna take a moment to answer a couple of questions. So let me quickly get your phone so I could pull this up here. So we had gotten a question from this listener, Sarah in Chicago. We appreciate you sharing your
Yes.
thoughts. So what she asked was, my partner and I have been together for 10 years, and we're falling into a bit of a rut. Now, rut, yes, that's a word that I don't quite use, but I'm assuming it's like a little bit of a moment that things are not quite happening the way that they have been, right? I'm assuming that's what you're saying, Sarah. So I think she's asking, how can she inject some excitement in that relationship?
Yeah.
Any advice for her?
Any advice, baby?
Oh, well, I can. That's a great question. I know you and I, we haven't fallen into what we'll call a rut yet, but if we
Yet.
did, this is what I would do. Like Cece loves surprises. So what I would do is plan little surprises for her, go online, find things that she hasn't done before, and come home and says, baby, get dressed. We're going somewhere. I'm not going to tell you. You'll find out when you get there. Make it fun, and always do it something that's outside of the home, outside of the
Right.
norm. Because couple falls in a rut when things become routine. We do the same thing over and over and over. Believe me,
We're trying
little
not to do that.
surprises, do little things, and make it fun. And yes, you'll find that you'll have to get used to that as well. You get used to planning things that you don't normally do. But if you're willing to pull your relationship out of that state, you have to start with small things. And you'll find that your partner will appreciate it. And obviously get into, have an open conversation before and say, hey, listen, baby, I see this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
To see if we could. And obviously you don't have to reveal the details. So my goal is to see what I can start doing to make sure that we get some spice in the relationship.
Yeah.
Now there's a number of ways to do spice. Depends on who you are. You can do it in the bedroom or you can do it outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
But do things that you haven't done.
Right.
And, just ask. The only thing to ask from your partner is that ask him or ask her to be open-minded.
Ask him. Sarah needs to ask her boyfriend.
Ask him to be open-minded. Because you'll find if your partner's open-minded, they'll be open to anything you do, and they'll be in a state where they can really allow themselves to enjoy it.
That's true.
And you also be open-minded. If your
Yes.
partner's doing something that you haven't done before, don't get so stuck up in your own way. Just let yourself play alone. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Did you do anything different?
No, I do definitely agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you.
See?
Yeah, and I would say I just want to add, communication is the key. Communicate with your partner and don't be afraid to talk openly, like you mentioned earlier, with your partner about what you need, what you desire, what you want. And so you can support each other, dreams, and of course, and keep the romance alive. Keep things spiced up a little bit.
Yeah. So we have another question. This one's from a man, Mark, in New York. It seems like he's a very busy man. So his question is, so I can relate to him on this because my job is very demanding. And his question is, he's struggling to balance his demanding career with spending quality time with his partner. And I could see that could be a real challenge. For instance, if it takes me, all my daylight hours is spent at work. I leave my house from 8:30 actually I have to be at work at 8:30 in the morning. So I would leave my house around 7:30, 7:40. And then sometimes I get home at 6:30ish And when I get home, eat dinner, get with the kids, do some business work because we're working on our business after work. And before you know it, it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, got to go to bed and wake up and do the same thing the next day. And you're like, okay, what moment did I get to speak of? So I feel you on this, Mark. Mm-hmm. So from your point of view or from your perspective, what would you say? I mean, what would you tell Mark? It'd be the same thing you would tell me. Don't tell him to quit his job. That's not.
I would not tell you to quit your job. I know, Mark, you probably have a family and you want to make sure you take care of both needs, right? And I would say the number one thing is to, like we said earlier, is to stick to what you put in your schedule. Like do schedule check-ins regularly. And I think that's important. You know, it is important just to make sure that, you know, you and your partner have that on your calendar. We do our check-ins from time to time. We just want to see where each other's at and share priorities and carve out, you know, sacred moments. And I know you're a busy man. Like my husband said, he can resonate with you. He can relate to what you said, to your question. But I think it's important for you to definitely do that checking. It's important.
Yeah. You know, one thing that we do, we share a calendar where anything that's on that calendar, Cece can see, and anything that's on Cece's calendar, we could see. And obviously, during the week, it's difficult to really take the time. Like going out on a date during the week, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Then that's why we start leveraging weekends. If you guys mentioned when we talk about date nights, it's either Saturday. Actually, it's been Saturday, and now we're realizing that we got to leverage Sundays as well.
I mean,
because during the week.
Right.
It's impossible to do so.
It is impossible.
Now, we do our check-in on the week. Like on Thursdays.
Business night.
Business nights. But Sis is the type that she'll do check-in. I will step in the bedroom. She's like, man, do you have 10 minutes? And then we talk.
Listen,
right?
Yes.
So and now I'm getting real good at it. The moment that she says this, I would just kind of leave what I'm doing and then come and do it. So fine. But I think for you, Mark, definitely make sure that you allow yourself to be flexible. Mm-hmm. Meaning that if after dinner, if you have kids, you let the kids go and do their things. If you want to spend an extra 20 minutes just sitting on the table chatting with your wife,
30.
I think that however long it takes, if you want to take that time right after chatting with your wife, that's fine. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's some days I get home and Cece's in the patio working, and I'll just pull up a chair and I just sit and we hang out for a little bit. So it's a lot, you know, just look at it this way. Do I have, during a week, is there any opportunity for me to be able to sit together with my wife? Right. And it could be in the bedroom. It could be in your patio. It could be at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Just look for that. And it doesn't have to be long. Mm-hmm. It just needs to be there. I mean, give you a moment to say, listen, I know we haven't chatted for the last couple of days as to how you're feeling. What's happening? Or share what's going on with you. Mm-hmm. That allows you to do it. But just be flexible. And again, like Cece said, prioritize your time. If you're going to leverage the weekend, don't be doing like we've been doing, where you'd have it on the schedule and something comes up and then you ended up rescheduling it. Just make it a non-negotiable thing on your calendar. If that's what's happening on that day, that's what's happening on that day.
Yes.
It's a message to her.
Well, I receive it.
You know, with all that I said, it comes down to one thing. It's not about quantity. Mm-hmm. It's about quality.
That's right.
Yeah, and quality allows you to make connections. Woman. You know, in the midst of life's hustle, love flourishes. You know, when you nurture that love, it doesn't matter how busy or crazy things get around you. If you could take a moment to nurture that love with attention and care, it'll flourish.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's about quality.
Yes.
Not quantity.
That's right.
So guys, that's all the time we have for you today. Remember, no matter how busy life gets, always make time to prioritize your relationship and nurture your love.
Yes.
You know, find moments to share with your spouse. Because you'll find it could be 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It means a whole lot to them. You know, so we always appreciate you guys joining us on the Blissology Podcast. We hope that you found a lot of meaning and insight in this episode we've just shared. Because I think dating our spouse is important. I am in the process of getting a good routine in place.
Okay.
On top of that, commitment.
You gotta be committed.
to make sure that we get this done when we need to. But it's important. But I'll tell you, with us, although we're busy, we do a lot of things together.
We do.
And that's probably what's compensating for us missing some of these date nights. So that's probably why Cece feels so comfortable saying, we'll reschedule for a different time. But we spend a lot of time together, including this podcast we do together. So, but again, going back, I'm hoping that just give you some ideas on some of the things that you can do. And if you've been doing something that's different than some of the things we've mentioned, please share it. Because I know when it comes to relationship, there's a number of things that could be done to make sure that relationship gets nurtured. So we are expecting to see some of your comments. If you have any advice for the two individuals who had questions, by all means, share it in the comments, and we'll definitely make sure that we get they'll see it on the podcast anyway. But share.
Sarah and Michael.
Share, right? Yes. Share. No, Mark.
Thank you for your comments.
But guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Until next time, keep enjoying each other. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.